Venn diagram. Put on one side football fans, on the other put National Theatre audience. How big is the intersection? The answer to this will give you the size of the audience. James Graham's new play, Dear England, now at the National Theatre's Olivier. Spanning the last decade, Dear England charts the time Gareth Southgate has spent as England football manager so far. The so far is important. So far is important. Southgate is still England manager today. His story is not complete, and so this feels a little premature. There is not yet any denouement, any lessons learned, any dramatic finish. So what we have is a telling of very recent history, a summary, if you like, of the last decade of tabloid headlines, not with the benefit of hindsight, but just laid out for us to pore over once more. It's a reminder of Brexit, of COVID, of many forms of Tory leadership, and of course of some football matches that England didn't quite win. For those with indelibly short memories or with just a passing interest in the ups and downs of our national team, a quick Southgate summary. As an England player himself, Gareth Southgate is best, perhaps only by some, known for missing the penalty shootout that cost England the semi-final in the 1996 Euros against Germany, therefore their place in the final. He was, and is, vilified by the public. 20 years later, whilst managing the England under-21s, Southgate was approached to take the role of manager for the England national squad after Sam Allardyce's one-match reign and a mutually agreed resignation. The same year, Theresa May became Prime Minister. At first, fans weren't sure about Southgate's appointment. Then the 2018 World Cup came along.
A bit of that for England. And Giant does it!
England won on penalties.
England win a World Cup penalty shootout!
As I just said.
For the first time ever!
And got through to the semi-final. Suddenly, Southgate won BBC Sports Personality of the Year. That year, Boris Johnson became Prime Minister, and we got COVID.
It's already been too long. Football's coming home again.
In 2021, England played to empty stadiums for Euro 2020. COVID seat.
He wasn't going to miss that one that time, Harry Kane. It hadn't been his best game, but he's waited, and he's waited for that chance to come.
They reached the final.
And that is it! It's finally happened! England beat Germany at a major tournament. Onwards to Rome, where things could get better and better and better.
They lost. And that is pretty much the ground that Dear England covers. Why make this a play for the National Theatre stage? Well, that's really down to Southgate's managerial style, which is atypical of what we think of for England managers before him. Less anger, more love, less aggression, more support, more touchy-feely. Many of the things that Southgate instigated are looked at here, or touched on. Little is examined in any depth. Instead, they appear like a roll call of tactics, and as though silently prefixed by an e.g., they are quickly acknowledged and they fizzle away. So, he brings in Pippa Grange as head of people and team development. As far as we can see, she asks the team to do some journaling. After a while, she resigns. He encourages the team to post selfies on Insta. He offers his support to fight back against racial taunts on the pitch. He touches on the changing nature of what it means to be English, and the meaning of those three lines. He decides to wear a waistcoat. Then he decides to change that to a polo shirt. All these things are very admirable and had an impact. All are worthy. Well, maybe not a fashion decision. It's like reading a list of bullet points on a CV. But unlike a CV, here we don't get the chance to follow up for more detail in an interview. Historical context is given by cameos that similarly speed on and off stage. Theresa May and Boris Johnson appear acting foolish. Previous England managers Sven-Göran Eriksson, Fabio Capello and Graham Taylor deliver punchlines. Gary Lineker and Matt Le Tissier commentate. It's like a race against the final whistle. We see lots of chances being set up, but very little followed through. Where time does slow down is for the football-related reconstructions that many of the fans will know. So, we get the details of the biogs of each player as Southgate announces his first team. It's a sudden information overload with names and caps and scoring in teams. This goes over your head if you don't have the prior knowledge. As a non-follower, I was a little curious as to why there were only 10 players, but perhaps there's reasons that escape me. It turns out it's unimportant. It's more like a listing in a programme than anything else. And we see every penalty being taken at the end of the 2018 World Cup. No real balls, obviously, but in what appears to be real time, beautifully choreographed. For football fans, the reliving of this memory may cause excitement, bringing back all the good feeling at the time. As it closes Act 1, it receives rapturous applause for the reality of the situation rather than what we've just seen. But if you weren't there, you won't know. With clipped beard and slicked back hair, Joseph Fiennes looks uncannily like Gareth Southgate. He also speaks his lines with a precision and a stress on the consonants that makes it clear why Southgate's Crystal Palace teammate used to call him Nord. He reminded them of the vocal delivery of Dennis Norden.
And welcome again to It'll Be All Right on the Night, gateway to cock-up country.
As Pippa Grange, Gina McKee feels a bit wasted. She has little to do. She reluctantly joins the team and then resignedly leaves. She delivers a couple of speeches about supporting each other and is the butt of quite a few jokes about this feminine way of working. And then she's gone. There are some great comic turns in the supporting, largely multi-playing cast. Sean Gilder has a lot of fun playing various English managers as well as Northern Irish good bloke Physio Phil. And Gunnar Cowthry recalls John Culshaw with his punchline heavy Lineker, Johnson, Eriksson and Rooney. What makes this show eminently watchable is the fine young cast playing the fresh young team. Across the board, the actors give absolute commitment to their characters and their roles as young men suddenly thrust onto the world stage. There's a complete believability in their dynamics between them as they're forced to suddenly work together as teammates, as family and trust each other. Not one of them did I think for a second wasn't a championship footballer. Their skills with the ball, although without the ball, are also admirable to this non-football fan. Watching the team here made me want to find out more about the real players, with hope that the erudite, likeable personalities are drawn from reality. I can't speak for their impressions. The audience reaction to the slow, stalled delivery given to Harry Kane by Will Close.
Have good spells in the game, but as we know, big games come down to fine details, fine margins, and they got theirs right, and we didn't.
Makes me think he got it pretty much on the button. If you're as likely to be seen as a check-off as at a cup final, then Dear England is a dream come true. I'm not sure how much the two sides of this Venn diagram overlap, but it's probably more than one would first imagine. But it is certainly one for the football fans. Glance through the reviews and I would happily place a bet that the higher the star rating, the more fervent the fandom. For those with just a passing interest in the game, there is still much to appreciate. Consistently strong performances, although McKee is wasted. As Devlin's grand stadium design and lighting and video create excitement and atmosphere and scale. But this is best seen with your proper fan friends. Their enthusiasm will exponentially increase your own enjoyment. Watching England lose a semi-final.